Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, I want to do a top 5 farmable red star promotion guide. Now, the last time I did this was about 2 patches ago in patch 6.3, so I think it's about time that we updated this. I want to talk about all the available farmable characters that I think that you should upgrade your red stars for, especially towards that like 6 red and maybe 7 red, depending on how many gold promos you're sitting on. So the reason why I'm doing farmable characters is because it's the ones that are reasonably accessible for most of the players. It does me no good to say, hey, you should 6 or 7 red Icarus or insert new character or Spider Weaver if you can't get shards for them. And the reason why I'm doing this too is because even I'm sitting on so many promo credits. Excuse all the ads and all that stuff, the offers. I have almost 1,000 silver promos and 350 gold promos. So clearly I also need to take some of my own advice and start using them because, I really don't like sitting on as many as they do. Maybe one day in the future we'll have some sort of mechanism where we can trade in silvers for gold. I don't know. But until then, I want to give you my top 5 list, so if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Oh, there I am. Just before we get started with the list, though, the top 5, I kind of want to cover, you may have seen this before. This is my farmable chart, my character farm table, and I add people in as they become farmable. So I just want to kind of cover who will be qualifying for this list as of recently, since I did this last in patch 6.3 with the Bionic Avengers patch. We've had basically Wong and Cersei now that are available on the hard mode campaigns. I am not including Icarus in this list because he's only in the Premium R exclusive, and I do not personally consider that farmable. Deathpool and Kestrel are available for this list. Spider-Punk is available for this list. Morbius and so on. I don't know if Kate Bishop or Echo were farmable before I did my last video. I don't know, but I mean, they are all qualifying for this. And also rework characters, because I want to be very clear about this, that regardless of whether or not your character is on this top 5 or not, I do want to say more broadly that if characters have been reworked, they have a very good, strong chance that you should put some red stars into them. Because they're farmable, they typically tend to be older characters that are widely available. And that's probably going to be your best bang for your buck if you need to. If you have some of the other characters already on this list, then the other rework characters, such as, for example, we had Deathseed on this patch with Magneto and Psylocke, and some of the other previous, when I talked about Bionic Avengers as well in patch 6.3, I had Vision on that list as well, because I think it was a very good upgrade for the time, and often reworks kind of represent that kind of best case scenario. So let me know in the comments down below. By the end of this video, though, if you don't see a character that should have been on the list, I'm more than happy to revise this next time we do that. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, because I know there's a lot of people out there who watch my videos but are not subscribed to the channel. So if you can click those buttons down below, that would be greatly appreciated. My grammar's failing. So now let's get to the top 5. And coming in at number 5 is going to be Ghost Spider. Now, this one was the hardest because I had a few characters that were like straddling the fence here between 5, 6, and 7. But because it's a top 5 list, I really wanted to just cut it off there. I could have done 7 or 8 characters, but I decided to do 5, and so Ghost Spider still makes that list. She is one of my highest powered characters, actually. She's almost 250k. I do have 7 red on her, and I don't regret it one bit. I'm still using Web Warriors daily. I know that they're coming up on soon to be like a year old of a team, but they're still really powerful, and Ghost Spider is the best character on that team. The main reason is because of her passive. So she has a retaliation passive that whenever a Web Warrior ally is attacked, she attacks back. Also, because she has a flat damage passive, that means not only is her retaliation damage very high, but she's the main recipient of that, because outside of raids, the Web Warriors only get the 25% damage in raids. They don't get it outside of raids. So in other game modes where you're using them, whether that's Scourge or whether that's War, Crucible, or wherever. I mean, they're not great in Crucible, but, still, that she's going to be the main damage dealer for that team, in my opinion, because she has her own damage passive specifically to her. So she's going to really make use of these extra stats, and she's, in my opinion, I'm pretty sure she is the highest damage stat of the team. And so I really like her. She is very easily accessible as well. You can find her in the raid, not the raid store, the arena store. Yeah, I don't know why I was blanking there for a minute. I'm like, it's right there. So if you need to buy more shards for her, she is available in the arena store at 975, and of course in some of these other orbs as well. She's actually in the Milestone Orb 3 now since they reworked that. So she's not too difficult to get shards for anymore, and if you need to get more for her, then you can do that, and I would recommend that upgrade. So Ghost Spider coming in at number 5. And coming in at number 4 is going to be ShangChi. Now, I don't remember where he was last time. He was on this list the last time. He still makes the list because, honestly, he's still one of the best characters in terms of using red stars. And the main reason for that is he kicks really, really hard. Insert swear words here because he's effing strong. So his ultimate, not only is on a cooldown of 3, this is a bonkers attack. This guy is like over, maybe he's like about a year and a half old. I don't know, he's older than Ghost Spider, and yet he still is so much stronger and a better recipient of red stars in my opinion. 450% damage. Plus 75% additional damage per positive effect. This can get very high. I have had like crit kicks for like over 500,000 damage AoE, and it's just insane, you know, and it's on such a low cooldown. The T4 gives a whopping 125% damage though, so that's really important to have. But man, this guy is so easily accessible. He is in the Blitz store, so you can get him right away for newer players, and he is on my baby account actually. He is nearing 7-star, and he's the only character that I have that is that high in shards because he's so easily right from the get-go, and he's one of the best characters that you can pick up in the early game, mid game. I'm still using him now, not so much on war. You know, I actually might just drop Heroes for Hire at some point and just use him because offensively he's very strong. I use him in Cosmic Crucible offense. I use him in war defense. I use him in all sorts, anywhere, raids, the skill raids, of course, and anywhere I can really use him. ShangChi is super powerful. So if you need another strong hitter that is widely available and easy to get, ShangChi is your man, and definitely consider using your red star tokens on him. Now, that and trust me, he is worth that 7 red, but I did that a while ago, so it is what it is. And coming in at number 3 is going to be OG Black Panther. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, because for quite a while, and even still, I am not gearing this team, whether it's Wakandans or War Dogs. However, I am going to give way to some of the people who I've spoken to and who have convinced me, at least if you are building this team, that Black Panther OG, I think, is the one that you want to have the highest stats on. And so he would be worth that 6 or 7 red star upgrade. So I'm personally not gearing this team, but if you are, then this is someone that you highly need to have pretty high up. So if you're gearing him up, then have those red stars attached to him, because on his passive, and yeah, I don't have the T4 on the passive either, but you know, when he does get a kill, he gets 100% speed bar, and this is really important. So making sure that he is either getting the kill or is involved in getting the kill with assists or whatnot is really important for him to get those turn bar meters so that you can keep him rolling and rolling. And he is very easily accessible right now. You can get him pretty early on. I mean, more broadly, the Wakandans are kind of important anyways because you need them for Chaos Theory, which then, you know, it helps you to farm more of these red star promo tokens that we're talking about. But yeah, I think he is a very good investment as far as farmable characters go. If you need to get additional shards for Black Panther, though, of course, you can find him in Nexus 4-9. What's really great about this is actually he's available, I would say pre-level 60, I think this is available, because I remember when I started farming him on my baby account, and it was pretty early on. What use you're going to get out of this? Well, we have the upcoming Nakia event, of course, but I believe that a 5 red Black Panther is available in these events, so do be cautioned about that one. Maybe wait for that if you are wanting to get a 6 red, or maybe even a 7 red. Just wait until you get that 5 red upgrade if you haven't already, because that will be coming up pretty soon. But otherwise, Wakandans for Chaos Theory, War Dogs for Nakia's event, Wakandans for Scourge, and then Crucible and War Offense, right? And so wherever you're going to be able to use them, Black Panther is going to be the one that you're going to want to upgrade. So Black Panther in at number 3. And coming in at number 2 is going to be Hela. Now, this might be some personal opinion or personal bias, because I know for some other people, this may not be their number 2 pick. But let's talk about why I have her on my list. So, as you guys know, she was recently reworked quite heavily with the Undying duo between her and Zombie Iron Man. This made her stats really significant now, and I realize that, yes, I do have her at 230k, which is about 7 red. But her base stats are through the roof, like her 812, well, I guess not base stats, sorry. Stats with all the upgrades and things like that. You know, she basically has 800,000 hit points, and this is just by herself, and this is not in any particular game mode, which is just pretty crazy. You know, I don't know if you've seen any of the videos where they've used Hela and Zombie Iron Man together. They can pull off some pretty crazy things. She is also widely available for newer, not so much new players, but mid-game players. It doesn't take very long to get shards for her, so I think she is a very powerful consideration for at least a 6 red. You don't have to necessarily do a 7 red. The reason why I did a 7 red is because I already had her at 6 red from her past meta, and then having her reworked again just really solidified my reasoning. And if you remember what I said in the beginning, I think that regardless of whether or not the character is on this list for you, I think the characters who have been reworked get a strong consideration for 6 and 7 reds, because a lot of the newer characters just aren't widely available and take a very long time to become farmable. So as far as this list, because it's just, like I said, it does me no good to tell you to go do a 7 red on Spider Weaver or something when you can't get the yellow stars for them. So Hela is very strong. I am using her almost daily. She's very strong in both War and Crucible offense, with Zombie Iron Man, of course, who was recently available in the event. And you don't really need too many high stars for him either, so it's not a really big deal there. Also, some people are using Hela in Arena, so for mid-game, I am using Hela actually in my baby accounts arena with some other characters, Spider Weaver, 2099, Hela, and Zombie Iron Man. Like, that's working out for me. I don't see that combo necessarily at the end game, but she is getting a wide amount of use. She is a very strong villain character, which is very important for some of the Scourges as well, for Morgan Le Fay, for Red. Actually, I think there's a lot of villains lanes, and there might be another one for the Death as well, because there's often not a lot of variety and accessible characters for the villain trait lane, and so I do want to give a special nod to that. Where are you going to find some extra shards for Hela, though? There's 2 places now. I don't know how long that's going to stay, but we do have villains 7-6. This is available from level 70 onwards, and then we have the new hard mode Heroes 2-3, which is available from level 75 onwards. So if you do need to collect some extra Hela shards, that's twice the fun for her if you have that available to you. She is also available in the Gamma Orb also, which does come around every so often, so not too bad there. And of course the Milestone Orb 3. So good ways to get extra shards for Hela, and I think she is a good consideration. So that's Hela for the number 2 spot. Let's find out who is going to reach that number 1. And coming in at number 1, this probably came to no surprise to people who were following the list and wondering who was left to be talked about. So Cersei was the most recently made farmable character, and frankly, if Icarus was farmable, he would have been number 1 and Cersei would have been number 2. That's just really how it is, because regardless of what you think about the Eternals, they are still the strongest duo in the game, and I think that there is going to be room for improvement in the future. Now, I know that they even said themselves, the devs said that they kind of really overtuned the Eternals, who came out around this time last year, but nonetheless, they are the most impactful set of characters to ever come to Marvel Strike Force. Now, I don't even have a 6 red yet, a 6 yellow for her yet. I am farming her every day, and so should you if you're not already. She is just wow. I don't know if I'm really going to go into the kits, because I'm sure you guys know the combination of Cersei and Icarus are so strong that they blow away 90% of the game's content. I'm using them in Arena, I'm using them in War, I'm using them in Crucible, I'm using them in Scourges, I am using them in Raids, in the Mystic lane. So yeah, they basically cover every single track. Both Cersei and Icarus both. Cersei does not have a damage skill on her special. However, she does do actually a significant amount of damage with her ult, regardless of her being a controller or not. She is a controller character. Yeah, she is. Okay, just making sure I was remembering that right. She does do a fair bit of damage. So most people think that red stars are mainly for damage type characters. That's not always necessarily the case. I think that Cersei, given how powerful she is in the Eternals duo, I think makes a strong argument for just having more stats on her. Frankly, that's all it is. But her stats are very big, even standalone, right? I'm at 5 yellow, 5 red, and she's at 850k, which is way higher, not way higher, a little bit higher than what we talked about when we just last checked Hela, and I think that, boy, yeah, the Eternals probably have some more room to go up, and I think that they'll be relevant for some time to come, so this absolutely is not wasted. As soon as I get some more yellow stars, this will probably take me a while because it's only one node to farm. However, once I do, I will probably buy a 7 red for Cersei, but this will probably be a couple months down the line. But anyway, she is available on Villains 2.9, the newly released hard mode campaign, so do get on that if you haven't cleared that already. That's really important to get to, not to mention all the other great stuff along the way in those campaign chapters as well. So that ends my top 5 list. Some characters that were not necessarily mentioned, but were in my previous list would include Vision. So again, another rework character. Reworks are very strong considerations for Red Star upgrades for 6 and 7s, and I definitely think that if you're on the fence about any of those, by all means, go do some of those characters. But I would be interested to know in the comments down below, anyone that I missed that I think I should have included. Like I said in the beginning, there's a couple that could have made the list who were kind of straddling with Ghost Spider there, but I decided to go with these sets of characters anyways. But I'm more than welcome to hear from you all who you think should have made this list instead. So that's the end of this one, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon, signing out.